All right, everybody, so that is my, what am I doing? All right, and then the last, all right, the next, Hey everybody, welcome back, and it is time for the Perfect Palette Tag Drugstore Edition. I told you guys I was like super cheating by doing a high-end and drugstore for both the Perfect Palette Tag 1 and 2. So let's get started. The first category is Best Packaging. For me, this is hands down e.l.f. I think e.l.f. just has such sleek, compact, functional packaging. I love it. This is actually the Prism palette in Naked, which could go for the second category as well, because the color payoff on these palettes is crazy, but so good. They always come with a mirror. I love that e.l.f.'s palettes always come with a mirror, but they are just sturdy, awesome, compact, just sleek. Love it. The next category is Best Color Payoff, and for me that goes to the NYX Avant Pop palette. This palette is so good. It's beautiful. I love it. It's creamy. It's gorgeous. It's just, it's good. It's so good. It's beautiful. This palette I talked about for like 5 years on my What's New at the Drugstore eyeshadow palette video, and that's just because I love this palette. It is one of my new favorites. All right, the next category is Most Versatile, and for me that goes to the Wet n Wild Fergie. This is the Milano collection palette. This is renamed something else. It's like Latte something now. I love this palette. I'm wearing it today on my eyes, and the reason why I find this so versatile, first of all, it's a $7 palette. Comes with a very usable brush that has it like a shader, eyeshadow packer on her brush. I know what I'm doing. And a fluffy brush on the other side. This is a very usable brush. But on top of that, you can do a completely matte look with this palette. You could do a shimmery look with this palette. You could do an everyday easy look with this palette. You could do smoky. You could do a cut crease. I mean, it's so good. And on top of that, you could do cool or warm toned. I mean, this is just a fantastic palette. I don't know why people didn't talk about this palette more. I think it's kind of getting attention now that it's being re-promoted as just a regular Wet n Wild palette, but I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. I know people rave about Corrupt from Makeup Geek. I think that's better, and I think it's more blendable, but that's just my opinion. And this palette, whole palette, $7. It's so good. You won't hear me say this often, but if you enjoy neutral palettes, this is a must-have for you because it is so good, it's so affordable, and it's such good quality. All right, the next quality is best for, or the next quality. The next category is best for traveling, and this is a new discovery for me, but this is the Carli Bybel palette from BH Cosmetics. I love this palette, and the reason why this is best for traveling for me, one, it has a mirror in it, and two, the colors are just colors that I gravitate towards. When I go on vacation, I usually go for something bronzy and smoky, or kind of these rosy tones because it's more because it's most flattering to my eyes. I just find these kind of tones really bring out the blue in my eyes. Plus, you've got your highlighters in here, and these highlighters, these highlighters are gorgeous. They're so beautiful, such great quality, and you can use them as eyeshadows as well. I think this is such a great little palette. I know this is limited edition. This is one that I'd really look into if you are wanting to try like the Naked palette, or a chocolate bar palette, or something with these kind of rosy, bronzy tones in it. I would maybe spend the $12 on this first, because I think you're really, really gonna like it. I'm really impressed with this palette, like a lot. All right, biggest regret. Now this one, I should have known better. I love this brand, but every time I go to get a palette, they just kind of disappoint me, and that's the Maybelline Rock Nudes. And I got kind of drawn in by this palette because I looked at the colors and I was like, that's beautiful. It just very inspiring, and I get it, and then I'm just like, crap, I should have known better. I should have known better. And I don't understand why Maybelline is not picking up the ball there, because they are getting left in the dust when it comes to drugstore eyeshadows. I mean, it's just poor quality. I don't even think it's poor quality. I think it's that they pack the shadows so freaking hard in here, you can't get any pigment. And it's so frustrating. And for $13 for what's been coming out, especially this spring in the drugstore, This is just not cutting it. It's not cutting it. And I hate saying that because I love Maybelline and I should have known better, but I didn't. And I got this, and now I hate that. I hate hating on products. I want things to be good. All right, let's talk about best color names. And for me, that is the BH Cosmetics Galaxy Chic palette. First of all, palette is awesome. It's a very sturdy palette. I always forget how heavy this palette is. Again, you get a nice mirror in there, but these, I love this palette. This is beautiful. BH Cosmetics is baked shadows like nobody's business, because wet or dry, they're gonna be stunning. And I'm just going to, I should be talking about the names, but look at the colors. I mean, it's so good. And those are dry. Those are dry. Those are dry. So these are all outer space solar system themed, which I think is really cute because it just goes along with the marbling in the shadows. It's just a well thought out palette. But you have Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Prometheus, Meteor, Asteroid, Aphrodite, Comet, Uranus, Milky Way, Earth, Moon, Cosmic, Neptune, and Eclipse. This palette, every time I look at this palette, it just floors me. It's so beautiful. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I will be doing a tutorial with this palette because I'm going to be doing a whole week of BH Cosmetics tutorials. So this one will be in there at least once. Least used palette is the next category, and for me that is another BH Cosmetics palette, and this was actually in my least used category for blush on my blush tag palette. And this is the Special Occasions palette. Again, it's a beautiful palette. You get all kinds of awesome blushes, a highlight, and just a wonderful array of kind of deep, vampy, smoky tones. These shadows are beautiful. I did use them on Valentine's Day, but I need to make a point of actually using these shadows more because they are really, really good quality. They're beautiful. I mean, sorry, those were really bad swatches. So just beautiful shades. I really like the quality in here. I need to leave this out and use it more. And I said that in that video. So this is going to be out on my vanity so I can reach for it, you know, on date night and things like that to really use it, because this is just a beautiful palette that I neglect. Next category is most used, and for me, I know this is technically not a palette, but this little quad from Color Riche I reach for all the time. This is the Cup of Joe quad, and the reason why I reach for it, and I've talked about this before, this is one of those workhorse palettes. This is a palette or a quad or whatever you want to call it that is going to make any other eyeshadow palette work. So if you've got a palette that is overwhelmingly shimmery or too dark, or you don't have a transition shade, this is a awesome staple in anybody's collection because you get 3 mid-tone brown shades and a nice highlight blending out shade. These are not the most pigmented shadows in the world, but they are very workable and they can make any eye look work. These are great shades for layering color and blending color out to get rid of harsh lines. And if you don't have this one, I think it is, like I said, just a great staple in your collection. It's awesome. I use this all the time. It stays, this is one of the few products that stays like on my vanity where I can reach for it because I know I'm going to use it a whole bunch. All right, the next category is most loved. Most loved? Most loved. I'm sorry guys, I did not mean for this to be a BH Cosmetics video, but I can't help it. That's just how it is. This was a limited edition palette, so I apologize. This is the Makeup by Mandy 24 palette. I did a Fresh Fierce Fabulous with this palette. I love it. It is a great neutral palette. You can get any kind of look out of it. You can get something very soft. You can get something like this. You can get something very dark and smoky. I just think it's gorgeous. And some of these highlight shades in here are beautiful. I mean, it's just, there was a while where I was not using anything but this palette at all. My one complaint about this palette is that the black can be a little hard to work with, but I mean, it was nothing that was stopping me at all. I absolutely just think it's a gorgeous, well thought out palette. I wish BH Cosmetics would make it permanent. It's a great alternative to the Naked palette, the Naked Basics palette, and I love this palette, and I think it might just be me. It might not be great for everybody, but for me and my purposes, I go back to that palette over and over and over again, and I'm going to be really sad when I hit pan on it. And the last category is Desert Island, and for me, that would be the Coastal Scents Revealed 2 palette. I love this palette. this could be a most loved palette too. It could be the most versatile. It could be best packaging. It could just be everything. I love this palette. It's a $20 palette. I think I waited and got it when it was $10. Those gorgeous rosy shades that I like. If you are thinking about dropping $54 on the Naked 3 palette, don't do it. Drop 10 or 20 bucks on this one instead. I have the Naked 3 palette and I use this one more. I go to this one first. This is the one I take with me on jobs. I love this palette. Again, you can do anything with it. You can create something very soft. You can create something more day-to-day. You can create something like what I'm wearing now. You could do super smoky and dramatic. It's just a good palette. And it's just those warm, bronzy, goldy, you know, kind of berry shades that I love. I love this palette. I think it's such good quality. So if I could only use one palette for the rest of my life, this one would probably be it. All right, everybody, so that is my perfect palette tag drugstore edition. So I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what you guys, what your favorites are. If you've done this tag or, you know, you filmed it, even if it's a long time ago, let me know down below because I love this tag. I think it's so much fun to watch and I just continue to this day to find new ones that I love to watch. Or if you haven't done it, I tag you to do it. Or if you don't make videos, then just let me know what your answers are down below because I love hearing from you guys. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Have a rocking week and I'll see you next time.